Did you know that one wrong sentence could cost you a lawsuit? Whether you're brand new to real estate or you're a seasoned pro, this risk is real and it's growing. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about what most real estate agents avoid, but you need to hear and pay attention to. This is how to protect yourself from lawsuits, complaints, or anything else that could happen to you as a real estate agent. This could save you your career, your reputation, a lot of time and energy, and your sanity. So let's get into that video right now. So in today's video, what I'd like to share with you is how you can protect yourself as a real estate agent from lawsuits, any claims or complaints that come up that people might make against you. You always want to be being proactive with this to make sure that nothing comes back on you. One of the early mentors that I had in real estate said, how can you protect yourself? Yes, you like to think the best in people, of course, you have the best intention and the people are really nice. However, when things go sideways, I've been there, the finger starts to get pointed at you. So we always want to be thinking, how can we protect ourselves? Okay, and in this video, I'm going to go through 4 different reasons, and I'm actually going to have a 5th, a bonus one, on how you can protect yourself as a real estate agent so you don't get any lawsuits against you, or if you do get dragged into anything, your butt is covered. Okay, so the very first thing that I'd like to cover is document everything. That is the first thing that you can do. Text, email, make sure you have anything in writing. I'm going to share with you something that happened to me, not through selling real estate, but as investing in real estate. I had somebody, I like to call this my $250,000 lesson. I had somebody sue me for $250,000 because they slipped and they fell at one of my properties. And then they decided to move out 2 weeks later. Now, it took 3 years to hash out, and there was many people that got dragged into the lawsuit too, because I shared a driveway with a hotel owner. So they got dragged into it, the property manager got dragged into it, and the snowplow removal guy got dragged into it too. So there was 4 of us that got dragged into it for a $250,000 lawsuit that did end up getting thrown out, but it took 3 years. And I did not have anything in writing with the hotel owner saying that we were going to be sharing the snowplow removal, okay, the contract during that winter season. And guess what? It came back to bite me in the butt because I had nothing in writing saying that I had a contract in place clearing the snow out. Yes, it did get thrown out eventually. However, it was a lot of additional stress and time involved talking to lawyers and insurance companies about this, okay? But they had me go through every single email. And I had a verbal, because again, I like to trust people. I like to trust people have good intentions. However, if you don't have anything in writing and something goes sideways, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So document everything. Say you're having a conversation with a client and you like this client and they've asked you a question. Send an email after the fact and say, hey, just like we discussed, such and such, here it is. Can you acknowledge this email? Please confirm and say received. That's all it has to be, okay? A lot of times in the emails that I send out to people, specifically clients, I'll say, please acknowledge that you've received this. Just like putting in an offer, right? Knowing that they've received it, they've acknowledged that. You do the same with your clients. Same with text. Things that are verbalized, they could go missing if anything comes back. So you always want to be documenting that you've had that conversation. So please, what I ask you, if you've had phone calls and it's an important conversation that you've had on the phone, please document it. Get in a text message that they've confirmed it or you've had that discussion. Or if they're not putting in a home inspection, finance, something like that, make sure you have it in writing. Document everything. Think about this. As you do anything in your real estate career, that is this documented? Do I have something in writing if something goes sideways? Okay, that is number 1. Number 2, okay, disclose everything religiously. You have nothing to hide. If somebody's had any type of water damage, if there was a crack in the foundation, if there's a fee associated with the road, whatever it may be, make sure that you have it in writing or add it into Schedule B or Schedule C. Just have it there that if the buyers, they can acknowledge that. Okay, if you're working with the seller, the buyers acknowledge that when they're putting in the agreement, that it's signed off, that everybody knows everything. Okay, there's no point in hiding anything. You have nothing to lose. Okay, so be transparent as possible. Never try and hide anything. If there's been a flood at some point in time, disclose that. Just let them know. Down the road, 3 years ago, we had this. They had a leak in the roof and it leaked into the wall, but they fixed that. Make sure it's documented in a schedule, or the buyers are signing off on that. Okay, what you think might be minor, I have written down here, or normal, like a water stain or something like that. What if it comes back and they open up the wall and there is mold? Okay, and they see that there's more water damage. Guess what? They're going to come after your client, and then you're going to be brought in, being looked at. Did you do your due diligence? Okay, ahead of time. Did something get documented? And you might have had this conversation verbally with your clients. However, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. If you're the listing agent, make sure it's disclosed. It doesn't matter if there was a flood 5 years ago. It doesn't matter if there was a roof leak 3 years ago. It doesn't matter what it is. If you believe it is important for the buyers to know. And just think about it. Would you like to know if there was a leak 3 years ago in the house, or there was a flood in the house? I would. I know personally, honestly, I just purchased the house, and I found out from the neighbor that there was a flood in the house a couple of years ago. Now, in my agreement, I'll show you, I had a clause in there that there had been no flooding or there was no water seepage. So the seller still signed off on it. However, I found out from the neighbor. Okay, so what did I do? I got a new sub pump, I got a new backup system, and I'm paying close attention to that. But the seller did not disclose that. Now, if anything was to happen, because I just got the basement done, I could come back on them. Regardless, you always want to be thinking about how you can protect yourself. So again, having everything in writing and disclose everything if you are working with the sellers. It's important. Just speak the truth. The truth will set you free. Okay? And you can sleep better at night. Number 3, stay in your lane. You're not an accountant. You're not a lawyer. You're not a contractor. You're not a mortgage broker. Bring in people that are experts to answer the questions. Okay? And just below this, I'm going to share with you what I put in every offer that I submit. Okay? These two here, right here, what I had mentioned to you before, the seller represents and warrants to the best of the seller's knowledge and belief that there has been no known seepage from the roof, basement, flooding, anywhere from water, and that the parties agree that this representation and warranties on survive on the merge of the completion of this transaction. Okay, I put that in there. Along with that, I also put in this one right at the bottom of every offer I ever submit, that the buyer and seller acknowledge and agree that no information provided by Nick Doherty, myself, and Royal LePage, who I work for, is to be construed as expert legal, financial, tax, building condition, zoning, construction, environment, or professional advice. Okay, I put this in there. I've been doing it since the beginning of my career. Right off the hop, I put this in there to protect myself. And trust me, it has saved my butt before that this was in here. If you've been in real estate for some time, it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's when it's going to happen. Eventually, something does happen. Okay, so you want to make sure you are protected. So these two for myself, they go in all the time. Okay, every offer, they go in. All right? And then another thing that I do to layer it, if somebody, a client, a buyer does not want to put in a home inspection, a finance, we have septic systems here, we have water systems that are off of lake and a lot of wells. People don't want to put in conditions for that because they make their offer cleaner. Here in Ontario, we have a Form 127. You might have one in your local state or province as well. That states that they are waiving this and it's their choice. You've made them aware and it's their choice that they're waiving this off. Okay? So this protects you again. So now I have this. If I'm putting in an offer, I have these clauses in here. Okay? And then I also have Form 127 that they're not putting a home inspection or they're waiving finance or whatever other conditions that I've suggested. Done. Okay, so now you have 2 protections. Now, I'm going to show you this form. This is what it looks like here. I'll show you one that I recently did. I took out the name, the buyer's name, and the seller's name, and the address and stuff like that. But basically that the buyer agrees that they're waiving off this condition pertaining to, and so you can see finance, the sale of the property, arranging insurance, home inspection, you put septic or whatever down here too. So they're waiving this, the initial off, and then whatever ones they're waiving off, you can do that too. On top of that, what I did with this one, because my clients were going against what I had suggested, and the best of my ability, what I had talked to my broker, I didn't think it was a good situation that they were in and what they wanted to do. So I had them sign off. I made additional comments right here in this. The buyer hereby acknowledges that Nick Doherty, as a licensed real estate professional, has recommended that the client seek independent legal advice regarding the preparation, review, execution of any offer to purchase a subject property. This is because they had put an offer on another property and they wanted to get out of that, but they had no mutual release signed, and I said not to move forward with this other house, but they still wanted to. So I had them sign off of this. And then I had them at the bottom of this: legal, accounting, environment advice. The parties acknowledge that any information provided by the brokerage is not legal, tax, or environmental advice. And I had them sign off on this, along with they had signed off on any other conditions they were putting in. On top of that, okay, I'm going to share with you a bonus on top of this. This is 3 ways to save your butt if you're putting in an offer. Okay, so 1, now we have stay in our lane. We have these conditions in the offer. We've had them fill out Form 127. So look into your state or province and see which one works for you. And then a pro tip here: if I'm unclear with anything in the offer or uncomfortable with it, guess what? I put a solicitor's lawyer condition in the offer, so it can go back onto the lawyer, so it takes it off of me. Okay, and I did this with this most recent transaction that I did with clients. The only condition that I put in there was lawyer for 3 days. They had 3 days to check with the lawyer, because again, I wasn't comfortable with what they wanted to do. So I added this in as well. So I protected myself 3 different ways. If anything ever were to come back, I can say they signed off on Form 27. They can see that I have a condition in the offer, and they can see I had a condition of the lawyer's approval. The lawyer had, they were comfortable checking with the lawyer, and the lawyer advised them to, however, the lawyer advised them, but they decided to waive it off. So it's back on your client. And I'm saying all of this, yes, we're always going to be doing what we can for our clients. We love our clients. We want to protect our clients too. But again, you're transacting all the time, okay? And things do happen. And it's amazing how quickly people's attitudes change when something is going sideways. And I'm sure maybe you've already experienced it in real estate, but they can be your best friend one day, and then when something goes sideways, they are pointing the finger at you. So you always want to be protecting yourself, and yes, you want to be protecting your client, of course, as well. But if you're doing anything that you feel uncomfortable with, make sure you are protecting yourself. So this is a pro tip. Whenever you feel uncomfortable, put a lawyer's condition in there, even 3 days, to have the lawyer review it too. It takes it totally off of you as well. And if I'm on both sides, I know not every state or province can work on both sides, but if I'm on both sides here, I always put a solicitor's or lawyer's review on both sides, the buyer and the seller as well. Okay? So these are ways that you can protect yourself. Again, you always want to be thinking going into the transaction, going into working with a client, how can I protect myself? Yes, we want to protect our client, but how can I also protect myself so I don't get pulled into any type of lawsuit or I've covered my butt? Okay, these are 5 different ways. I showed you 4, and then I showed you a bonus tip of how you can protect yourself as a real estate agent. If you found this video helpful, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be sharing with you everything I've learned as a real estate agent and how to get to 6 figures. And if you would like to watch another video on lead gen, okay, this video right here will share with you 12 different ways how to generate leads. It's super powerful. If you follow this, you will hit 6 figures. It's just a matter of when. Okay? I'm Nick Doherty, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.